a retreat place.
And you hear the birds and trees, and it is community, it's learning.
Hello everybody! Welcome to the third Suderbyn webinar about a lot of things. We already talked about food with Antoine on Monday, and yesterday we talked about energy with Simon. So I hope you learned lots of things if you were attending the first two webinars. We are now going to start the third one with Abdul, who is going to talk about permaculture, a really trending topic. I already see 14 participants. Thank you all to have joined us. Thank you, Frederick. Hello. Thank you, Vera. Thank you, Yana. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Darius. Thank you, Angelina, Lena, and Sibyl. And thank you, Arthur, Onin, and Elsa. You can, don't be shy. You can activate your video if you want, so that we can see your beautiful faces. Yeah, hello everyone. And so we're gonna start by asking some questions to you. So if you click on the participant, button on the bottom of your screen, you can see all people attending, and you can see also buttons that say yes and no. So I will ask you some questions to start, and then you will be able to tell Abdul who has some knowledge about permaculture or not. So first questions. Do you know what permaculture is, and do you have any basis on it? You can answer by clicking yes or no. Okay, so we have quite a knowledgeable audience. That's really good. Okay, thanks. So, okay, Lena and Frederick, you answered no, so I hope we will learn a lot today. Now, second questions. Who thinks permaculture is just a trending a thing for hippie people, or it's a really serious matter and it will be part of our future? So if you think that it's a part of the future, you can say yes. And if you think it's just something not really serious for hippie people, then you answer no. Great. Okay, only people that think it's a serious matter.
No, I don't.
No, you don't. No, Abdul doesn't. That's why he's doing the presentation. Okay, thank you. Or we are already 18. We have new participants. So thank you, Kent. Thank you, Paula, for joining us. Thank you, Andre and Angelina. So I think that we can start now that we are already 18. And we are all eager to see what Abdul has prepared for us. So, Abdul, it's your time to shine.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiwi. Thank you, Kiwi, for this introduction. And thanks, everyone, for joining today. And yeah, don't hesitate to hit the chat at some point if you have any question, any remarks.
Just there is a window that is open on the left where we see your presenter view. Maybe you can just remove it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the sharing. Yes, so I had a call a few weeks or even months ago with my brother. And I was telling him a little about permaculture and the book I was reading, which was about permaculture and people. And so he told me was it about more management, how to manage people around permaculture, how to do more gardening and farming. Of course, I understand why he thought about that. I mean, when you think about permaculture, we mainly think about agriculture, about working in the land. And that's also what I was thinking a while ago. So 6 months ago, I joined Suderbyn Ecovillage for 1 year experience to experience, everything regarding an ecovillage. And things were going great, learning a lot of things, doing a lot of things. And of course, I was sharing a lot with my brother about that. And he asked me after hearing about the project we do, after sharing the buses and the train I was taking to avoid taking a plane and polluting, all the work that we've done, if all of this investment into sustainability, if I was thinking about self-sustainability. So of course I wasn't, and that's also why I'm doing this talk today, because even though we live in an eco-village that values natural rhythm and personal space, I burned out, something I did not expect to have here. Even though it happened. And that shouldn't actually, because when you burned out, it's because you invested too much time, too much energy in something, and you did not get enough for yourself. And that's exactly what permaculture is about. And I wanted to try to apply these principles to my personal life, or at least to my relationships. And that's what I want to share with you today, and that's what we will see all along. So I knew why it happened. I knew how it happened. I didn't know what to do about it. So in permaculture design, well, you design. You take your property and you try to zone it in an efficient way so that you know where will you put all your energy and where will you put your time. So to make things a little clearer, there is the scheme that you see in most of permaculture books. And how do you zone your land? At the center, there is you, your community, and then there is your house, there is your garden, and the further away you go, the less time and energy you invest in this zone. So that means zone 5 actually is a totally unmanaged area that you live like this. And the closer you get to you, that's where you spend most of your time. So that's in the physical world, in the agricultural world. What happens if you apply it to our own relationships? Well, at the center, there is you. In the zone 0, there is your closest family members, your closest friends, then maybe your coworkers, your acquaintances, your friends. And the further you go, the further away are these people. For instance, in this zone 5, there's that cousin that you meet only at every wedding, but you don't remember their names. And what's interesting about this zoning is the people that are literally closer to you, you go to arm's length for them. You are there for them. And the people that are, a little far away, sometimes you see them only once, and then they just reach the goodbye zone, and you will not see them again. You will let them be by themselves. And actually, I'm not saying you should try to design all your relationships or your friendships, but maybe think about them more in renewable resources as it is. Because let's face it, friendship, relationship are renewable. You can invest time, you can invest care to let them grow, to nurture them. And if you do that right, that happens also to you. You're also a renewable resources for them. And they don't disappear after one party. And if they do, well, sustainability is not the issue here. Maybe you have to reconsider your behavior. And when I'm talking about energy, well, a good relationship or good relationships can literally empower you. I know that for myself, that has been a huge part of my stability, of my my mindset. So I know when I have healthy relationships around me and when I contribute to their own health, well, that creates a virtuous cycle to each and one of us. And the opposite is also true. When you have a toxic relationship that can also take all your time, all your energy, and have a significant impact on your on your health. That's actually what happens also in permaculture principle. We design systems that require care and time, and that produce something. And it's through the integration of various systems that will have an output for one system, will be an input for another, and all of these relationships can work together to have in harmony. And that's what permaculture is about. If we take another example, let's say you have a relationship where you give a lot of input, a lot of care, a lot of energy. That's in permaculture principle, that's not really sustainable. We try to save as much energy and time as possible. So it should not take extra work to do that. It should be actually natural. What time you want to spend, what activities you want to do with your friends or relatives. And then let's think about the output. What happens? What do you get out of it? In permaculture, an output that is not used, it's a waste, it's a pollution. And there's no waste usually in permaculture principle. If it happens in your relationship, and if you get too much of something you don't want, well, you're in deep shit actually. And that's actually something you should try. My advice is try to identify it and avoid it. And trying to identify what are your toxic relationships and compare them to the one that are actually nurturing you and giving you the energy you need. And yeah. So I thought a lot about the zoning, about the identifying, nurturing relationship, and investing time and care with that. And that's actually what I applied since I've been there. But that was not enough, especially this year. I don't know about you guys, but 2020 has been pretty intense, like really, really intense. It seems like every month we have a new, a new calamity coming down. And even though I had these principles in mind, I didn't know what to do about this crisis that are happening all around the world, and that you hear about and that you feel connected to. And that's actually one of the challenges I face. And I think that everybody faces all of these things that are in your circle of concern. These are topics that you relate to, that you feel connected to. Unfortunately, our circle of influence is nowhere near as big as them. So we don't really know how to act on them and how to contribute to tackle these challenges. So what I set out to do is actually to work, especially in this circle of influence, and to try to do things, small things, but are within my reach. Doing workshops, doing gardening, trainings, and little by little, by doing things that are inside my circle of influence, well, something happened. Because when you use your skill, you master them, you improve on them, well, your circle of influence increases. And then you discover new things that you could not do before. You discover also new people you didn't know before. You enhance your network. And then you start doing new things also. Let me start again. I want really to emphasize on that. Any meaningful work that you do within your circle of influence has a tremendous impact, first on yourself and also on your surroundings. And that can influence a lot of things. And hopefully one day that small circle of influence can reach out and touch those key challenges. At least that's what I'm striving for. And that's also why we're hosting these webinars, to try to reach this. And talking a little about these circles and this zoning, we can see like two different zones. And in permaculture, there is a wonderful principle about that. It's called the edge effect. So here's a picture of various edges. You can see lands touching water, and you can really see the diversity that it enables. When two ecosystems meet each other, it creates a lot of biodiversity, a lot of richness around that. And I kind of like this principle, and we already have it. It's just another name. Circle of concern and circle of influence. It's mainly a matter of comfort zone and outside the comfort zone. And that's what I'm set out to do, to try as much as possible to touch the edges of this comfort zone on topics that we relate to, and I invite you to also do that. Because let's face it, you see me now, but this was me a year ago. I was working as an IT consultant back in Paris. This is me last month, digging a pond, learning about water management with the guidance of Antoine. And that's outside my comfort zone. Actually, that was outside my comfort zone. And that's the gist of it. The further away we get to this zone, the more things we can do and the more things we can impact. And today, I am really thankful for everyone and each of you to have attended this webinar and the others, because you helped each and one of us to get out of this comfort zone and, yeah, reach out even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Abdul. I just want to remember you people that you can ask whatever question you want in the chat if you have questions for Abdul, because now we are going to answer them. So I leave you 30 seconds to 1 minute to ask any question you have, and if you don't, then I don't know what we can talk about. Abdul, maybe you can join me. Yeah, maybe I can join you. Okay. So we're waiting for questions.
Yes, you can also activate your webcam so we can see your faces. I'm gonna stop the presentation so we can see a little more of every one of you.
Okay.
Abdul, don't you miss your further work?
Yes, so that's a very good question. So yes, I've been working in IT and management for the past few years, and I thought coming here at an Ecovillage that those skills will not be used at all. Here we are. Yet here we are hosting webinars, we are doing communication. There is always a space for digital tools. So I'm not missing them because I'm using them in another way and to contribute to this project.
So
Okay.
we have a question from Elsa. She doesn't know if it's relevant, but I think it is. What made you decide to go out of your comfort zone and radically change your way of life?
Okay, that's a really good question. Last year, I got into a website. A friend shared to me when to calculate the CO2 you produce through traveling. I have been traveling a lot the past few years, like really a lot. And I was thinking I was doing fairly good sustainability-wise. I was recycling, I was starting to cut meat and becoming vegetarian. And when I saw the impact I had just on planes, well, let's say I have to do a lot now to contribute back to it. And it just came also by a nice timing and a nice opportunity. So Suderbyn shared a recruitment post about volunteering, and I applied last summer. When I applied, it was supposed to be for October 2020, so this year. And instead, Suderbyn wrote an email telling me, hey, we had the cancellation from a French person. She was supposed to come in 3 weeks. So what would you rather go? Come in 1 year and 3 weeks or come in 3 weeks? So I said, hey, let's go, let's go. So I really like this idea of just doing it, and yeah.
Okay, Kent, really want to thank you for your sharing.
Thank you, Kent.
And you have a lot of questions right now. I have one question about the book about relationships and permaculture that you read. What is the title of the book? Because someone is really interested in knowing more about this area of permaculture.
It's gonna be really simple. The book is called Permaculture and People. You can recognize it. It has a red Bordeaux cover on it, and yeah, it's a really good book. It's a really
Bordeaux
good book.
is like this.
Exactly. Well, okay.
Vera has a question. Hello, Vera. Thank you. How do you apply to social permaculture in Suderbyn?
Nice. That's a very good question. As me for myself, that's what I shared about the zoning and about the people that you keep close, or the people that you want to spend time with and invest time with. It would be hypocritical to say that you can give as much care and time to everyone. So just you have to choose and to test and to check what relationships are nurturing you and others that are not empowering you correctly. And that's what I'm trying to do. In a community setting, we are 20, 25 people on average, always together. So the social energy is quite high, actually. And if you don't do that and you try to be with everyone all the time, that's when the burnout happens. That's actually what happens. And yeah, so trying and error.
I really hope my relationship with you is empowering.
Right now, definitely.
Okay, question from Civil. Thank you, Civil. You said that in permaculture there is no waste. How does that apply to relationships? Would you say there was no relationship waste before in your life? There was. Would you say that there was relationship waste before in your life?
Okay, so actually a waste, in the principle of waste is something you have not found a use for, or is not useful maybe for you or for the system you're in. So if a relationship for me, I was found it was a little too wasteful, maybe for someone else it's not. Maybe it's just that the needs don't match. And that's actually what happens a lot in relationships, something that you are ready to give and the other person, your significant other, for instance, it's not what they need, then there's actually nothing to do about that. So yeah, I had a relationship that were not nurturing that much, and I think that's okay. Saying, okay, we want different things and we work differently and split. I think it's even healthy to say that.
Okay, we do not have a question, but I want to read this comment anyway because it's about spreading love and sowing the love, which is a permaculture thing. Thank you so much. It's from Angelina. She wants to thank you so much for your contribution because it was very inspiring. She feels so happy to see Suderbinians, happy, shiny faces. Yeah, you are shiny.
The sun is quite shiny now.
And she would just want to say to give her warmest hugs and love to all of Suderbinian people. So thank you very much, Angelina.
Thank you, Angelina.
We hug you back. Okay.
Any other question?
Any other question?
Nice. I'm quite happy with all the questions that you had. I hope that this story, you can relate to some part of it. You can get burned out for many other reasons. I had previous ones, many from work. You can have it also for relationship. You can have it for several things. I think that's okay. That's okay when it happens. It's a way for your body to tell you, or your mind to tell you that, yeah, something is not right now, and here's the signal. Hopefully you don't reach an extreme situation to get there. And everything, studying yourself, at least analyzing, reflecting on that, can really help. And it's not only about you. You don't do it selfishly. If you're good with yourself, if you love yourself, then it also, yeah, it impacts everything around. Again, we go back to this circle of influence. So yeah, I hope you will apply it also to yourselves, and that you will also impact the surroundings. And please let me know if you have any question about that, and if something successful happened to you, I would be really really inspired also.
Thank you.
Oh, and also I want to add that we will put more information on the social networks, especially on the Facebook page and the event in the webinar event. So you can still keep on following them, and you will have more references to read, videos to look, and we will share lots of information that we couldn't in just 30 minutes time. So if you are really interested in this matter, please subscribe to the Facebook page and follow us. There will be plenty of things to discover.
Yeah. Last question, no?
Did you see a question?
I see it because it's my dad, so. Do you think to implement this concept worldwide? Let's think about it. Let's think about interaction between countries, between communities, between even take it at any level, government, how they interact with other parties or citizenship, and how things that are produced by, it could be implemented to everything. It's a design. It's not only for agriculture, not only for relationship. You can apply it for even for an IT project if you'd like. Definitely. There's no end to it.
Okay, thank you everybody for your positive feedback.
Thank you.
It has been great to listen to you, Abdul. Thank
Merci.
you very much.
Thank you.
And I can see that permaculture for people also allows the hair to grow.
Okay, so thanks everyone. And tomorrow will be the last webinar. It will be about art and artivism. It will be done by Jing. Jing is our local artist. Most of the artwork that you see is done by her. Everything from this series is done from her. And she's gonna share also how did she get there? And how did she join us? So I wish you a happy lunch, happy day, and hopefully see you tomorrow. And I'm already really happy to have seen all of these faces and all of these names today.
Bye.
Bye.
You want to confess.